This is Sharon's Hall of Records, and I have the privilege of bringing like-minded people together and having a guest speaker tonight is Alexandra Campo, and she has just a wonderful story and stories, I should say, to share with us. And I think that you're going to love that. So she has 3 beautiful children, and she is totally in the right business because she has what she has overcome in her life. And with being a single parent and having 3 children, she's rocking her world and her business in totally new ways, very specific, spiritually. And that is kind of how we met. We met through Jay and April Matta, and they are the owners of Spiritually Raw. I don't know if you've heard of Spiritually Raw before, but they've been doing that business for a long, long time. And the beauty of that for me was way back when COVID hit, and I was going into my spiritual practice full time. I did not know what to do next. And actually, April met me on LinkedIn, and she invited me to come and be part of their podcast. So that's how I met Jay and April Matta, who are amazing people. And through them is actually how I met Alexandra Campo, because she also is in that Spiritually Raw community. So it's what goes around comes around. We're all in this together, and it's so amazing. So Alexandra, are you back with us? I just want to give you the proper introduction, and
I appreciate it.
She's so wonderful. No matter what happens, she's always smiling, and whatever the kids are doing, she's always there, grounded. And I love you, sweetheart. I don't have any kids. I can't imagine. So I just look at you like a saint. I don't know how you do this.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
Daily work. Like
I'm absolutely sure about that. So the proper introduction. So Alexandra Campo is a spiritual and family life coach trained by the Tony Robbins Institute. She is a developer of the consciousness theory and dedicated her life to serving humanity. After enlisting in the U.S. Navy to serve her country, she experienced a life-changing injury. The Creator then guided her on the journey to live her best life. She's now on purpose to help all of those who are suffering with her amazing healing gifts as a light worker. So Alex owns a therapy farm located in Austin, Texas area. The special modalities that she has developed go directly to the root of people's traumas without spending years in therapy. Her personal mission is to awaken and heal over 1 million family units to usher in the new wave of awakened and enlightened beings. And so the name of her business, this is the Facebook group, I believe, Healing the Divinely Guided Parent. That's your Facebook group.
Yeah.
And Healing the Family Unit with some simple tips she's going to give to us tonight. And this is in relationship with our children. She's got 3 children, and 11 years she has become a master. So Alexandra, thank you so much for being here. I know you've had a busy day, and I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely. This is an honor to be with you. I am so appreciative. I am so excited to show up and serve your community. So thank you for that. That was beautiful. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sweetheart. You're the best. So what would you like people to know about you? Actually, why don't we begin with how your spiritual journey began?
Well, when it like really began, to start to awaken that there was like really something to this spiritual stuff. I had kind of essentially come to God in a traditional church, right? When I was 17, I was soon to be baptized, close to 18, not quite. And I was soon to be baptized. And I remember I'd fallen asleep. Was reading my Bible and, fell asleep. I was sleeping on my back and I experienced what others can understand to be sleep paralysis. I had something digging its claws into my chest. I could not, like physically was like everything was being sucked out of me. And I just was like doing this. And I hit my hand on my Bible and I was like, Jesus, help me. And it was gone. And I slept naked at the time. And when I looked, so I'm 17 years old. I live in Portland, Oregon at the time, by myself, totally on my own, had been for a year, like by myself, going through some major life things, right? So my world is chaotic. I'm, in a lot of lack and scarcity and pain, right? And this happens. And I kid you not, I had cat-like scratches on my chest and I freaked out. I was like, I don't know what this heaven, hell, demon, God, Jesus, whatever the truth of this is, because I'm still kind of like I always kind of felt a presence, but like I was like really invested, church, classes, everything. Like I was invested in you know what I mean, and really digging into it. And I was like, this is really real. And so with that being said, yeah, I eventually enlisted into the US Navy. I loved it there. I always kind of felt guided. I was actually worked. I didn't know this until later on, but I had experiences in Coronado Naval Air Station in San Diego, California. There's a lot of government programs out there. And I witnessed things that I didn't know. I'm 20, barely 20, 21, 22 years old. I'm a baby. And I didn't understand things that were going on. And it's interesting because it's led to an awakening of different programmings and like people might have like super soldier experiences and stuff. I've had stuff like that. I know missions. I've had a lot of experiences, and so I've been putting all of this together. And I had this space where I got medically downed, is what they call it. I had to be removed from my job as an aviation electronics technician, working on aircraft and doing all kinds of things. I had a full mental break. My abusive ex-husband, who was on and still on supervised CPS, this was May, and he'd been on supervised since September the year previous. We're in the process of divorce. I'm supposed to go out to sea on deployment in 4 months for 13 months minimum. And the social worker was like, oh, that's okay. We'll just take him off supervised, put him on. Your two 2 and 1 year old children will go with him during your duration of your deployment. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? My mom, who lives 6 hours away, we have everything set up. You're gonna, huh? Like, what? Did you just like really say that? And she did. And he started getting all of this unsupervised. And it just like, I broke. And I actually broke down one day in front of my first class in chief because my job responsibilities was stating that this aircraft was safe for flight. This aircraft can take individuals and safely fly. I'm one of the last signatures. I'm one of the last people to say, yes, this is good to go, head out, right? I couldn't, my head wasn't in the game. And I got so terrified I was going to hurt someone. I broke down one day and was like, I can't do this. Every time I try going harder, it hits me harder back and I'm failing so hard. I might kill somebody if I miss something. My job is important. I can't do this. And in that time of this brokenness and trying to heal, and they were like, yeah, you're right, you can't, like, you're not safe to be on aircraft, we need to figure out what's going on. And so I got med down. And in that process, I literally was speaking to Archangel Michael. He was like, it was October. I was like, after physical therapy, I had a destroyed shoulder, working on the healing, me as well. So I'm like, I got my service dog with me and I'm sitting there, we're arguing. And he's like, you're going to Georgetown, Texas next September. Be prepared because you're going. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I'm in San Diego. There is not a soul I know in the state of Texas. Does Georgetown, is that like even a city in Texas? Like, does what? And well, and he was like, you need to like, and just in my space, you need to prepare, you need to prepare. And I was fighting it. And then my psychiatrist was like, you can't do this. I promise you'll thank me later for what I'm going to do. And she medically retired me. And it's been such a blessing, and I'm so grateful to her, because it's like, even in those midst of brokenness, you're going to encounter people who will pivot your life path. And it may seem like everything's falling down. Everyone told me I was crazy to move to Texas. And I was like, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
And I had to actually go through a move away trial. I had to represent myself against my ex-husband in a 3-day trial to reason why we should move to Texas. And we got it. And we got our stuff and we got everything placed out. It was literally synchronistic in our timing. When I got to Texas, I was staying with a friend's mom about 8 hours north of where I live now. And my 2 toddlers, my 4 dogs, and my house fell through. And I was on my knees bawling my eyes out, like, you brought me here. And now you just took every stability I had away. And he showed me this beautiful little 4-person family, right? 2 little kids and stuff. They're like, this is the home you created for them. They get that blessing, but I have something better for you. And he showed me this, my pasture. About a year and a half after we lived here, I finally saw it, but he showed me my pasture and was like, I have something bigger for me. Just hold on. Listen to what I'm telling you, and you're going to be just fine. And I got a hotel that allowed me to have my 4 dogs with me, my 2 children. We found the rental. My across the street neighbor's mother was the realtor who helped me find my house and my property. And it had been put on my heart before it hit within my price range. It was actually about $25,000 above what we could afford at our top. And it came down and boom, we took it right then and there. And it has been the most blessed. It is 17 acres, right? 17 is a very divine number. And so we live right off one of the major highways on the northeastern side of Austin. And people who come here, who work with us, who, especially because I have trained animals, right? The healing is just so magnificent. And it's rapid too. Like, you're not having to spend years and years in therapy. Like, it's rapid.
Yes.
Amazing to see.
Wow. I mean, I've known you for a long time, but I didn't know all of that. And
yeah.
I mean, I knew who you were anyway, but wow.
So we got through some stuff, right? And that was one thing I remember praying one night, was just like, make my pain worth something. Take what I've learned and help others, because I was like, then at least it'd be worth it, right? Like, don't just make me go through this. And I kid you not, in July of 2020, Archangel Michael full on like appeared like in my space. We were in my barn, and told me basically, everything that you've gone through is for a reason. Your children chose you for a reason. Mind you, I have 2 older children from my married ex-husband. And then I have my youngest, who is with my person I got with shortly after a very long-term intense relationship ended, right? Kind of my rebound. I ended up pregnant. He's never seen our son. And 6 months pregnant was like, it's okay. This is exactly how it's supposed to be. You are on your own divine path. This soul wanted to come in. He's got a purpose. Birth that purpose in him. Do what you've been told to do with the puppies that I have in my other room, that program they had given me. Do it to him. This is your chance. You're stepping into this, like, showing me this is how we create more divine beings. And that's how my puppy program got started, because that's what I do with my mamas. I have a picture I'll share with you. I'll send you a text of it. The puppy is 3 days old and my 3-year-old is holding her, and she's trying to go to his neck. Well, I've spent the last 2 days starting to condition them to have that intimacy with you, and there's a lot to the program, but just having that intimacy and that connection, that divine, right? Just snuggling into your space. Oh my goodness. It is like the greatest thing, having to condition them, because I get puppy snuggles every day.
Oh, that's so great. And you know, the animal kingdom, well, the plant and animal kingdom are here to support us as human beings here on the planet. And they do such a good job. You know, even when we don't do such a good job, you know, they're there no matter what. The unconditional love, and the plants, you know, that you know, give us the oxygen, you know, we give them the other part, you know. It's just that giving cycle that we have on the planet, and that now I think is so important to get to the next level, you know, like what you said with what you're doing, that people don't need to spend their entire lifetimes in therapy, because that's not much of a life. Is that a life that we would really love living? No, we want to build the life that we love living while we're alive, and we make the most of it, right?
I know it's so true, because it's like, how do we go deeper? How do we love harder? How do we enjoy greater? How do we intensify this positive experience? Because when we start to come to that connected, it's funny you mentioned them being little healers. Some of the download I got was basically that the puppies are these little light beings, right? They're little light souls, and they're literally dispersed divinely into these family units who come my way to do intense and divine healing. And all my families are just like, these dogs are like insanely in tune with me. They're just like I've had a husky before, even like ones, they're husky and Pomeranian, so like they're smart breeds, but like even families who have huskies, they're like, no, this dog is like something different, something intense, something in tune, something is just different. And that is part of what the consciousness theory is. We're literally, and so the program is, you actually start ideally with both parents, and I do this with my dogs, both parents before they even conceive the being, right? And work through even in gestation with the mother's womb and the child and stuff like that. And then when the baby comes, and how that whole process goes. But it's just, and it's literally these different things, it's a moving energy, it's shifting, it's creating, it's allowing the creation of their cells to be molded into this high vibrational frequency environment for different things that you do, like, for the mom's womb, right? Feeling into that space. So they're literally being born into this creation of this high vibration. And that is the consciousness theory.
I love that, and very well explained, because I totally understand. And I just want to tell you, when we met, and it was very divine, and you had me, on your podcast, and I got to, explain about the work that I do, in the Akashic field, my Akashic readings and clearings, and then we've got to do some of that work together as well.
Very helpful.
There's so many ways of healing. And we know, I know when we experience ourselves, that's usually how we find our particular path. It's like, what really makes a change in us? When I found the Akashic work, my whole life changed. Sharing that with you and your family, again, is life-changing for me. And I'm so happy and grateful. And we do different things, but it's all in the healing realm.
Yep.
You found that helpful for you and your family?
Oh, absolutely. I love your clearings. That's why I wanted to partner with you like I did. That's part of my pitch with the workshop. If you want to talk about that really quick, I do have a free workshop. It is the 5th and 6th of May at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you go to the website and you hit the workshops tab, it'll make it so that you can just sign up, make sure you hit your time zone, so it automatically calculates where you're at, since we do serve people all over the world. And then you'll be able to book the appointment, and it's free, but you need to book it so you get your actual like reminders and stuff. And you'll have a chance to go through our Facebook group and watch it there, or through WebEx is what I have, similar to Zoom, same kind of setup. And so be able to tune into that either way. And we're definitely going to dig a lot more of what I wanted to talk a little bit about today, was, just building those relationships. Like you and I were talking beforehand, you can use this really for any kind of relationship you have, right? For coming into this understanding with it. And the biggest things, talking about is there's the 3 C's for, caring for a child or an individual, caring for another person, another being. And, the first thing that we'll see is having this connection, right? We all have this need for connection. And sometimes people start to think that, because the child is no longer an infant or a toddler, like as they start to get bigger, they don't need that same kind of connection. And I mean, a simple look them in the eyes, big old hug. Hey, I'm glad to see you, bud. Give them a high five, I'm just excited you're here, right? Or a hug and a kiss, something that shows that connection with your kiddos. My kiddos are trying to break in the, hang on, my baby. Yes.
I've gotten to know them well. I know they're adorable. And, like Alex was saying, it, the things that we learn in the healing realm, it usually is overarching, like everything is connected. So even though there might be several different ways of healing or getting us to connect, it's all part of it. And that's why it's not a one size fits all. That's why there's, healing happens on so many levels, so many different levels. And that's why, we can try different things. Some things might resonate, some won't, but I just can't imagine anybody who loves dogs and loves kids, how you wouldn't have something really special for them, because I have yet to find anybody with your passion and how you live your life in that way. So I wanted to have you on my Hall of Records because of all the wonderful things that you do. I just want to make sure. Now you said something about a website, but we didn't give that website information. I don't know, is that needed, or can that information also be found on the Facebook group?
Absolutely. Or if you have, well, I don't know if you can put it on the screen. I don't know if you're able to put it in the chat. I was going to say, it's, the website is Heroes Ranch, but it's spelled HEROS. And then ranch, RANCH .farm, FARM. And so that'll take you to our website. And we have a tab that says workshops. Click on that tab. It'll take you to where it's an embedded sign-up sheet. You can go in and look for the one that is coming up, be able to sign up for that. And like I said, it'll get you in, it'll get you so you have everything sent to you and stuff. So you don't forget, right? And life can happen. And I'm like, oh man, I totally forgot to attend that. It's okay. And we have a replay too. Like it'll be up for people in the group itself. It'll be up for a few days. So you'll be able to catch it, shortly thereafter, but don't wait around because they will go away for a minute. So
yeah. And so then the private Facebook group, which is amazing, Healing the Divinely Guided Parent.
Right.
I love that. I love that title. That's it. Really well said.
Thank you. It was a download. I can't take credit.
Well, you can take all the credit because it came through you. So, yes, we get to be the receiver, and then we get to share. So it's all that, circle of abundance that comes in and out. And let's see.
Well, and it's funny too, because like, I remember when I was being shown, like, this is your work. Like, that's what Archangel Michael basically told me. It's July of 2020. I thought I was losing my ever loving mind, but I was just like, okay, this is really happening. But he had told me, this is your work to do, and just laid it out, like, because I was still kind of like, I had a lot of the education, I had the experience, I was healing, I was, but it was like, I was not quite getting everything put together exactly the way, understanding fully. And so through that, it was interesting because it's like, you're going through those growing pains, and you're going through just, how do I get this to work? I know this is happening. And that's really the group of people who were like, I'm tired of being tired. I'm ready to make changes. Let's do the work. Because like, our program is intense, like, I have homework, we have expectations, you show up every week, like, you know what I mean? Like, we have expectations, and we have forms that keep you engaged. And so that's really where, those are the people, those are my people, right? Those are the people that are going to do well in the group and do well in our programs. But the workshops are free and open to anyone, so it doesn't matter who you are.
or what you want to do, but I can't imagine anybody could be there and not get something out of it, whether they do all the work or not. Yeah. Sometimes it's, different people take in information in lots of different ways. I believe that you also told me that you have a gift for our listeners.
Yeah. So if y'all go to that Facebook group, Healing the Divinely, common spelling, Guided Parent, it'll be like a teal bluish background, like little profile picture. Click on that group, fill out the questions. I want to make sure we're not getting like bots and stuff like that in there.
Right.
And so fill that out. We'll accept you. We have a meditation since you're watching this within even I'd say like the next couple of weeks, because I did a new moon manifestation, very like cleansing, calling into existence meditation that I have in there for everybody. So even if, you know, you are catching this later on, I mean, it'll be in there, but you know, you can still use it however that fits. But it was created for this energy and this time. Of course, everything are uniquely and divinely created or connected. So regardless of when you do theoretically watch it in time, it is all the same energy connection. So yeah, it's just been I'm super excited because it's just like all of the energies, right? We're in this abundance creation, we are in this flow, we are in this upward swing. It's, you know, people are stepping into their energy, into their power, into their divine like calling. And it's like we're as humanity like going through, like if you've been working on yourself, you're up leveling, and if you're just starting to wake up, you're up leveling. If you're not even awake, you're kind of starting to wake up, right?
Up leveling.
Yeah, right. Everybody's
Yeah.
kind of up leveling, and that's really the swing that I see humanity in right now. And so like that's why I'm pumped, because it's like I've already had the visions. I've already seen the people that are coming to me. I've already seen the breakthroughs that are coming, and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, and the better, you know, the better it gets, the better it gets. And we're all, because of the heightened frequency in this coming through our atmosphere, it's requiring all of us to expand. And so I think that's one of the most important things that I always remind, you know, my clients and my friends, everybody that I talk to, because people are, if they don't already have an idea about all of this, I want, we all of it, all the healers, we want them to know that they're not going crazy, that they're not, there's not anything wrong with them, that this is the way that it's happening. And that's by leaning in, not pushing away, but leaning in, expanding in to the higher version of ourselves. That's what's required. And that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. You know, that's, and we remind each other. And the beauty of it is in our healing groups, we support one another because we totally understand. We're not in this, we're not the Lone Rangers, and we're not in this to be separate. We're in this because we're all one. We're all come from one place, and that's the creator source. We're all one, and yet we each have our uniqueness, our individual gifts that are all different, but all of that is encompassed in the one when we say I am that I am.
And beautifully said, beautifully said. I love that. I am who I am. It's like, because we are all one, and people, I always try to preach to people, like they're like, oh, we got to fit in, we got to all be the same. And I was like, every single one of us was born with a unique piece. Think of it like a jigsaw puzzle, right? Every piece has its own little like twists and turns. Maybe there's some commonalities, got like one little funky piece over here, you know, looks like another one, but you got other pieces that are different. And it's because we're all uniquely meant to fit into this one puzzle piece, essentially together, uniquely, a little bit different, maybe some or similar in some areas, but we're all meant to fit a purpose. And without each puzzle piece, it's just not a full picture. Now, of course, you have a bunch of them, it's a big deal, but one even makes it so that it doesn't really fit. It's not complete, right?
Right. I have a question for you. Do you have a couple of tips that you might give? I'm sure there's a lot of parents that may be struggling. Is there any one thing or a couple of little tools or anything that you might be able, you know, from your heart to their heart to I don't know how you do it, like I said, but any tips that you could give them that you would like to share?
Honestly, the biggest thing that I always get people on. That's one of the biggest crux that people struggle with, is starting off with a solid morning routine. And that means like like legit, if I could go to bed at 0200 and wake up between 0809, maybe even 1000, I'd be fantastic. I wish I could live that life. That is not my life. I wake up faithfully every day at 5:15, but I'm springing out of bed. I used to be like sluggish, like I like am like dragging painfully out of bed because and all three of my children are like, none of us want to wake up early. And of course they've got school and everything else. And I was grumpy. I was irritable. My connection was with myself, my expanded, it was just off. And I was not just, it was chaos. And when I really got solid, I get up, I stretch, I meditate, especially silent meditation. Like I'll open up the windows so I hear the bugs from outside, and just allowing, if like it's not too, if it's too cold or whatever, to go outside, and just being in that quiet space at 6:15 in the morning before the world's really getting going, and just sitting in quiet and allowing my nervous system to come into synchronicity with, because like we see that, what are those little things that, like, even if you start the little tickers, they eventually fall into resonate,
The frequency.
Thank you. Falling into resonance. That's the word I was looking for.
Resonance, yes.
Yeah, with one another, right? Eventually they start. So going out and allowing myself to be open and vulnerable to what nature's providing, and allow my body to get into resonance with it, legitimately, that's how, like, even when my kids are screaming, like, I'm not freaking out. I used to have crazy anxiety. And if I don't do this, I will have it. It comes right back. I'll start feeling overwhelmed. I'll start feeling grumpy and anxious. And I'm just like, I don't want to be here, and just really stressed out. And so working on myself, working on us, working on your mental health, getting into a coaching program, because we have so much more control over our situation than we allow ourselves. Let me repeat that. Like, we allow ourselves to think, because we are our own worst enemy. We have the ability to fully control the situation by controlling how we show up, we interpret, and we respond to it. So we can make the changes, but do we even recognize that we can make the changes first and foremost? And a lot of people don't.
And now they do, because you're explaining it. And I have to tell you, it really works, because I've been on calls with Alex before, and it doesn't matter what's happening around her, somehow somehow you just have that grounded, mother loving, energy, and you're able to do that. And I don't know how you get everything done either. So I seriously, I applaud you. And if I had the award, I would give you, the best mother in the world award, with your little ones.
I laugh because I always joke, like, I'm a recovering screamer, right? I used to scream and like yell at my kids. I used to lose my shit. I used to be so ungrounded. I used to be so stressed out. I used to be so just like, I'm done. F this. I'm just go away, right? Mommy needs a break. Kind of just like, leave me alone. And because I was stressed, because my nervous system was so just unmanaged. And if I, a day goes by, I don't meditate, it's not going to really impact me a whole lot. But if I go a week without it and getting into that resonance, I'm feeling it. I'm just like, oof, no. I'm not thinking. I get off task easier. I just being able to, and I always joke, I'm like, yeah, I have ADHD, I'm medicated. I'm always been like this, right? But it's being able to take that ability, even with those like squirrel moments, and bringing it back down and being like, okay, I can do this. I can, because when we're even able to regulate our nervous system, even simple things like, if you're really stressed out, your vagus nerve, it runs right up through here, and it actually goes down between your T1 and 2. Oh yeah, you probably know all about this with all your stuff that you've gone through, but it comes down and it goes down into, and it stops right about the top part of our stomach. So if you've ever got like that gut punch feeling, or just like sick to your stomach and just like, oh, that dread kind of feeling, that's your vagus nerve responding. And if you go through even just lightly rubbing the skin behind the ear, really loving on that space, even like long rhythmic strokes, can absolutely help bring down your nervous system. There's a lot of different ways to regulate that.
Yeah, I do the breathe, ground, and remember, you know, the
Yeah.
sacred breath, the feeling grounded. So there's many, many ways, but I love what you shared.
Yeah.
And
Breathwork amazing.
is there anything that you would like to add?
Honestly, the only thing I was going to say is that breath work, right? Combining it with the vagus nerve relaxation too.
Oh,
That'll enhance it, because breath work is amazing in helping regulate your nervous system. But if you think
totally.
you can start incorporating different pieces, like if you do like belly breath, all the muscles and nerves that you're engaging and doing belly breathing and reacting to that, plus stimulating the vagus nerve, you could definitely calm yourself down if you're like stressed out.
Yes, because our physical body must live with ease. Otherwise, we create dis-ease.
Yeah.
And we create dis-ease. It doesn't happen to us. We don't catch it. It comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
And we can also, when we take responsibility for that, it, like you said, you have with all of, you know, everything that happens in life with all of us,
Right.
we still have control.
Right.
And you have pointed that out, and I know that you live that way. And I'm just really, really thank you so much, and so happy and grateful that you're here sharing with me and all the listeners, and the great gifts that you've given to us. And yeah, I hope to bring you back next year and you can tell us even more, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll have more created. I appreciate you and all of y'all, you know, listening to this. It's been my absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. I so appreciate you, and I adore you because your work is amazing. So I love it.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Mwah. Lots of love.
For sure. Love y'all.